capitalized math industry, and we're gonna take a look at mean, median, mode, and range. So in this video, mean, median, mode, and range is all about data and statistics. And when you think of data, you might think of when you think of data, you might think about game-saved data. But that's not really what we're going to be talking about. We're going to use the math kind of data, which means that we're going to be using data based off the Amity Duels, which is a cross-country race. And it's a JV race that takes place on September 21st, 2021. So we're gonna do some math based on the results. We're gonna find the mean, which is the average, the median, which is the middle, the mode, which is the most, and the range, which is the spread. Let's get started!
Runners, set!
See you at the 1 mile mark!
Later, 1 hour later.
The race in Amity Duels is competed with Han versus Xavier versus Amity versus Career versus Mercy. And the data that we're going to look at is Han. So here's the results for the Han cross-country team. We have the players' initials, what place they got, and the time. So when you're doing a cross-country race, the score depends on the first 5 teammates on your team that cross the finish line first. So what we're going to be doing is finding the mean, median, and mode, and range to find what the data is for the time. So let's look at the mean. So when calculating the mean, that explains the average. So we're going to try and find the average of the first 5 runners that cross the finish line. So in order to do that, we're going to have to add up all these numbers and divide by how many runners there are. So we have to add up all these and divide by 5 because there are 5 runners. So when we add up all of the times, we're going to get an answer of 101.17 minutes. But that's because we added up all the numbers. Now we have to divide that by 5. And we'll see what the average time, the average for these 5 runners are. So when we do that, we get an average of 20 minutes and 25 seconds. If you go online and you search up a calculator to divide time in minutes, then this is the average in time that the cross-country team has in average. But the average can change because not all cross-country races have the first 5. Some of them actually have the first 7 because they try to have an advantage of having the lowest score possible by adding your place. Like, first place gets 1 point, second place 2 points, third place 3, and so on. So the aim of the game is to have the least number of points regarding on what place you get. So when we have IF and NI added, they get 16th and 18th place, and their times are 21:32 and 21:34. If we try and did the math, and we try finding the average, our average is actually going to change. The reason why is if we add the numbers and the times in here, not only will we get a different answer, but we'll also have a different average. So this is how we do the average. Add up all the numbers, and we divide by how many numbers there are to get an average. Let's look at the median next. So, the median actually describes for data that what is the midpoint or what is the middle when you line up all of the times from least to greatest, and what is the middle. To find the middle time, we're gonna have to put these from least to greatest in order, and what we're gonna be doing is find the middle. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So we're gonna say that 20 minutes and 17 seconds that was run by ES is going to be the median. So that is our median. The median is actually a really fast calculation because you're trying to see what the middle is. But the thing is, what makes things slower is when there's a jumbled mess and you have to arrange them from least to greatest. Let's look at the range because that is when cross country relates to the most. The range. So when you're calculating the range, this is when a lot of cross-country officials and coaches will use the math to calculate the team spread. To do that, we're going to have the biggest number of the spread, subtract that by the smallest number of the spread, because we're calculating how long does it take the first 7 or 5 people to cross the finish line. And when that last person, or NI, crosses the finish line, the timer stops, and that's the total spread. Many coaches recommend to have a spread under 2 minutes. Let's see what happens if we do 21:34. Subtract that by 19:18. So when TB crosses the finish line, it starts the timer. So we're going to do 21:34 minus that by 19:18. And when we do that, we're going to get 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, a lot of people want a spread of 2 minutes, but 2 minutes and 16 seconds is not that bad. So, that means it took the team from the first 7 people 2 minutes and 16 seconds for all of them to cross the finish line. TB starting the team spread and NI ending the team spread. So it took them 2 minutes and 16 seconds for all of the first 7 to cross the finish line. Last but not least, let's look at the mode. So when calculating the mode, you don't really use this in cross country, but what happens if you go to the concession stand? Because at the concession stand near the finish line, there's like drinks, possibly sodas, sometimes hot dogs, popcorn. So what we're going to be doing is adding in some numbers so we can find the mode. So we're going to say $1 for every soda, $4 for every popcorn, and $5 for every hot dog. So here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna write a bunch of numbers. 1, 1, 1, 4, 5, 5, 5, 1, 4, 1, 5, 4, 4. So what we're gonna be doing is finding out what item got the most sales, because the mode is actually called the most. So which food item had the most sales during the cross-country race? We can do that by counting the numbers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So 5 ones. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 fours. So 4 fours. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fives. So we're going to say that the 1 is going to be the most. which means a lot of people got sodas because that was $1. So that is the most. Not necessarily in the race, but it's probably necessary when you calculate in a concession stand. So we have now learned what the mean, median, mode, and range is, and we also learned about how a cross-country race operates and what the results for the Amity duels were, because this was actually the real results of a real race. Now let's see who won that race. Hooray for Han! They have won against Xavier and Amity in the JV race. I hope this video has helped you learn about mean, median, mode, and range. Thank you for watching Taopingerlife's Math Industry. Like and subscribe. What happens if you try to have JOK in the average? Because he ran a 1647 and he's a varsity runner. But watch out, he's the team captain of Han. So what is the average now? Use the information earlier in the video when we add up all the numbers and type in the comments below what the new team average is if you use all 7 people, including JOK.